your baby daddy calling you this late?
He want to talk about the kid.
Yeah.
The kids.
He want to talk about the kids. The kids are sweet.
Or more kids.
It's never gonna happen.
Is you sure, naive?
You should be naive.
Bitch.
Scrappy is high-key trying to get back with me at this point. He's sending flowers to my house every day. He wants to do family things, and I am absolutely not an Erica Dixon. You can spin a block with that one, and she is gonna be there for you and your new baby, and probably be best friends with the other baby mama too. But it ain't gonna be me.
I don't ask for none of this. I ain't asking my mama to go through this, bro.
And it's serious right now, like.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Nigga, I was on the floor crying last night, bro.
Listen, bro. Don't let that
Nah, nigga, my mama, man.
Don't let that push you, bro.
Man, I got people trying to be in my business about the baby and stuff. You know, we got baby mama number 2 mad. Like, I don't know what I did to her. And then my mom, cause she going through it. I mean, and then
What point do I really just say all this? I'm like robbing myself out of just moments in my life because of my loyalty to somebody who never really truly held me down in any capacity.
Scott, why you reach out to her all day?
Because that's what we do.
I told her I was going through something last night. I said, yo,
And I said, I'm trying to understand what's happening.
my mother is dying.
You being hella dramatic.
I'm really just quiet, period. I ain't even got the strength to do this.
You done talk about me to everybody around this motherfucker.
You done talk about me. You done talk about me. You done told you that. How the hell do that? And I down. But you know what? You know what?
Go away.
You know what? You
Saw that. I ain't going nowhere, and that's why you mad. That's why you really mad.
I'm not mad at you, Bam. I really love you.
Yeah, okay.
You blocked her after me and you start back being cool. So she wanna know why you blocked her.
I seen how y'all going. I was like, I'm not even
Wait,
part
who
of this.
blocked? But you know what, Scrap? I will tell you this. You're wrong because you was flirting with her for a very long time.
You said I was flirting with her?
What was that wrong?
Show it.
Don't flirt with the ops. Don't flirt with the police. Don't flirt with the people in the circle.
I just want everybody to know I don't give a who Scrap flirts with, okay? He's free to flirt with whoever the he want to flirt with.
Scrappy was standing there. The words he had hoped to hear rang in his head, but they never did, and his heart was racing. For a long time, he had thought that if he worked hard enough, Bambi would ultimately see him the way he saw her. But her eyes were far away, and her face was unreadable. The sun was sinking, casting an orange. The air felt heavy with tension as they stood in the glow across the meadow, and Scrappy's hands trembled as he reached into his jacket pocket and took out a small velvet box. His stomach twisted in knots. This was the moment that would make or break everything. He had spent weeks practicing his words for this. Seeing the joy on her face when she acknowledged that he had. I imagined them facing the world together in the future. Their years of friendship, their calm understanding, and their moments of laughing all seemed to be building up to this one pivotal moment. Tenacious, I don't know what to say, Bambi whispered softly, her voice cracking slightly. His pulse accelerated as she walked back slowly, her eyes sinking to the ground. Scrappy, I do care about you, but I don't feel the same way. It is unlikely that I ever will. The world around him appeared to blur the hues of the sky, fading into a murky shade as the words struck him like a blow to the chest. His throat felt constricted, but he wanted to talk to Hayes to let her know that this wasn't a fleeting moment and that he had loved her for so long that she was the only person who had ever really mattered. There was stillness for a long time as the words remained stuck somewhere between his lips and his emotions. None of it seemed genuine, even as the breeze stirred the leaves and a bird's distant call cut through the silence. Scrappy wanted to drop to his knees and plead with her to change his mind, since his legs felt weak beneath him, but he knew deep inside that doing so would only make things worse. He opened the box to see the engagement ring sparkling in the gentle setting sun. He wasn't sure why he hadn't tossed it to the floor and left, but he couldn't let go of the dream, even though it was sliding through his fingers. Bambi briefly glanced at the ring before turning back to face him with a dejected expression. "I'm so sorry. Tenacious, I've always been there for you, and I've always been loyal. Don't you see that I love you, Bambi?" She muttered, her remorse clearly audible in her voice. "I never wanted to harm you since you're one of the most important people in my life, but not in that manner." She nodded, a tear streaming from the corner of his mouth as his voice faltered, the pain seeping through the gaps in his normally tough demeanor. The corner of her eye. "You deserve someone who genuinely feels the same way as you do, someone who can make you as happy as you deserve to be. I know, and I will always care for you, that love is not something that can be forced." He always thought there was a chance and that love would find a way, but in that moment, it felt like the world was ending. The finality of her words hit him like a frigid wave. His eyes began to well up with tears as he realized that the person he had intended to spend the rest of his life with was disappearing. Scrappy had always taken pleasure in being strong and dependable. But in that moment, he felt weak since his entire existence had been centered around the prospect of a future with Bambi, and now it was gone. Bambi tentatively reached out and placed a. He took a shaky breath to steady himself after she touched his arm gently, saying, "Please don't be upset. I never wanted this to hurt you." He wanted to pull away from her touch to get away from the pain, but instead he found himself staring into her eyes, which he had admired for so long, but now felt like a distant memory. "I'll always be here for you, Scrappy." Silently but correctly, Bambi said. Now that we both need time to sort things out, she abruptly turned and left him standing by himself in the last of the light. He didn't know how long he stood there looking at the empty spot where Bambi had been. The ring in his palm seemed like a reminder of everything he had lost. Scrappy stayed in the meadow, the weight of her rejection crushing down on him like a heavy burden. However, he knew in his heart that he could give up now, rather than waiting for the day that Bambi would realize her mistake and return to him, because in spite of everything, including the rejection, Scrappy couldn't give up hope that she would somehow return to his life. And in that silent moment as the sun's last rays faded, beyond the horizon, in the heart of Atlanta, where the streets throb with hip-hop beats and the air is thick with ambition, there was a love story that attracted a lot of attention. He promised himself that he would wait no matter how long it took, because, in his heart, love was never meant to be one-sided. Rapper Lil Scrappy, a budding talent, has discovered a collaborator in beautiful model and businesswoman Bambi Benson, and her partner became one of the most talked about couples in the entertainment industry. Their relationship was featured on the reality TV show Love and Pop Atlanta, which allowed viewers to follow their turbulent romance and its ups and downs. For a while, it appeared like they had everything Scrappy had, and their chemistry was indisputable. They were the ideal balance of fire and grace, but like many relationships under the scrutiny of public life, theirs wasn't without its difficulties. There were rumors of infidelity, heated arguments that were publicly displayed, and the strains of constantly being in the spotlight. His gritty, unapologetic rhymes found balance in Bambi, whose poise and elegance grounded him. Limelight, everything started to weigh heavily on them. As time went on, fractures appeared, and ultimately their love tale ended. Scrappy's public separation was chaotic, and the loss of Bambi was a shock for which he was unprepared. His feelings were intense, and the anguish of losing her struck him hard. Once dominating the stage with his self-assured flow and audacious persona, the man was suddenly left to accept that heartbreak is a reality. Unable to keep the grief from his fans, Scrappy sent notes expressing regret and longing, talking about the void Bambi left in his life and revealing a vulnerable side of himself that few had ever seen. In sharp contrast to the tough demeanor he had displayed, the emptiness he felt without her by his side made him feel comfortable enough to cry. He pleaded with Bambi to return to his life in an emotional essay, expressing that it wasn't just the loss of love, but also the intense pain of knowing that something lovely had eluded him. It was a heartbreaking moment. When Scrappy talked about his mother, Mama D, she was a constant presence in the background, a strong influence on his life, and her viewpoint was significant. Scrappy was exposed. Mama D also desired for him and Bambi to find a way to get back together.
You blocked her after me and you start back being cool. So she want to know why you blocked her.
I seen how y'all was going. I was like, I'm not even part of this.
But you know what, Scrap? I will tell you this. You're wrong because you was flirting with her for a very long time.
You said I was flirting with her?
What was that wrong?
Show it.
I just want everybody to know I don't give a who Scrap flirts with, okay? He's free to flirt with whoever the he want to flirt with.
She thought they were destined to be together. As he described his mother's hope for family unity, Scrappy's voice wavered, echoing the aspirations of many who wished for their reconciliation. His mother's voice gave his screams more urgency, as though to say, "You two belong together." But while Scrappy revealed his soul to the world, Bambi remained calm, focused on her own path, and moved forward without responding to the emotional posts. In her quiet strength, Bambi didn't react as Scrappy had hoped. Instead, she carried herself with dignity. Or the tears for her. It appeared that the healing process was already in progress. She didn't need to justify herself. And maybe she had already come to terms with the world's separation, but she wasn't so quick to let go that fans, media outlets, and followers couldn't help but closely examine every social. The story of Lil Scrappy and Bambi became a spectacle after every interview and quick glance in the media. People wondered if love was powerful enough to mend the hurt caused by betrayal, if time could mend the damage, or if the demands of fame had finally torn them apart as the weeks went by. Although there were sightings of them together at events and months of speculations circulating about their relationship status, which only stoked speculation that they might be attempting to patch things up, neither Lil Scrappy nor Bambi made any public statements regarding their relationship. Verification or rejection fans were left wondering whether the love they had once witnessed between Scrappy and Bambi was actually gone, or if it had simply been buried under the weight of everything they had gone through. There was only stillness that persisted in the air, and speculation became continuous.
In the meantime, both of them focused on their respective careers. Scrappy released new music, channeling the heartache he was experiencing into his art. His tracks were filled with vulnerability, revealing the pain and regret that had taken over his soul. For Bambi, life moved forward as well. She dove deeper into her business ventures and continued to build her brand. The strength she showed during this time was a testament to her resilience, as she worked tirelessly to carve out her own path outside of the chaos that surrounded her personal life. As the months went by, the public's fascination with the pair began to fade, but the memory of their love story lingered. Some still hoped for a reunion, holding on to the belief that they were meant to be. Others accepted that their chapter had closed and the two had moved on in different directions. But Lil Scrappy's tears, his pleas for Bambi to return, and the heartfelt words of his mother continued to echo in the hearts of those who had witnessed their love story. In his vulnerability, Scrappy showed a side of himself that many didn't expect, one that was deeply human, capable of loving with all his heart, and willing to admit his mistakes. For Bambi, the journey was one of self-discovery and empowerment, as she forged her own path in the world without being defined by the man who had once been her everything. As the years went on, the tale of Lil Scrappy and Bambi became more than just a public spectacle. It became a reminder of the complexities of love, the power of personal growth, and the impact that family can have on one's decisions. Scrappy's story was a testament to the vulnerability that comes with love and loss, while Bambi's journey symbolized strength and independence. Both had been forever changed by their relationship, but perhaps that's what made their story so unforgettable. In the end, whether they would find their way back to each other remained uncertain, but the love they shared, the heartbreak they endured, and the lessons they learned would stay with them forever, a part of their individual legacies, written in the music they made and the lives they led.
I don't ask for none of this. I ain't asking my mama to go through this, bro.
And it's serious right now, like.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Nigga, I was on the floor crying last night, bro.
Listen, bro. Don't let that.
Nah, nigga, my mama, man.
Man, I got people trying to be in my business about the baby and stuff. You know, we got baby mama number 2 mad. Like, I don't know what I did to her. And then my mom, cause she going through it. I mean, and then
What point do I really just say all this? I'm like robbing myself out of just moments in my life because of my loyalty to somebody who never really truly held me down in any capacity.
Scott, why you reach out to her all day?
Because that's what we do.
I told her I was going through something last night. I said, yo,
And I said, I'm trying to understand what's happening.
my mother is dying.
You man, hella dramatic.
I'm really just quiet, period. I ain't even got the strength to do this.
You done talk about me to everybody around this motherfucker.
You done talk about me. You done talk about me. You done told you that I held you down. And I down. But you know what? You know what?
Go away.
You know what? You
All that. I ain't going nowhere, and that's why you mad. That's why you really mad.
I'm not mad at you, Bam. I really love you.
Yeah, okay.